could go into perpetual Apple debt for the rest of your life.
And they're just making shit up now. I guess the Singularity is here.
And I guess Intel's iGPU. Holy freaking. Let's get on news, everybody. I'm your Brett host.
Spicy morning. I'm Reese.
We're going to be going over your hottest tech news we can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. And we're going to talk today about the launch of the brand new Apple upgrade program. This is their leasing structure that's being financed through Klarna that we talked about recently that allows you to get a whole bunch of Apple products for perpetual money. Just keep giving them money forever and ever.
Money.
So this applies to the iPhone, the Apple Watch, the Mac, and the iPad. So you can go ahead.
The staples, I guess.
The staples, not the cheap crap. Can't get AirPods on this. But the idea is that you subscribe, and then it's a lease. So when your payment's over, you give it back.
Yeah, you don't get the.
You don't get to keep it, but you could also swap it for something new, like a lease on a vehicle. And considering the price of some of these MacBooks, I get it. Like some of those Mac Studios are like 13 grand. That's a car.
Yeah. When you put it that way, that's a car.
Yeah, I don't know if you could lease a car at 13 grand. There's no brand new cars for that much. But anyways, the idea is money. Money stays going. And you don't have to pay the upfront.
Flowing,
Exactly. They just
keeps going.
Money on the books all the time. And you can trade in early if you want for substantial fees. Whatever that means.
I like that phrase.
Yeah. Additionally, you have to keep your device in good shape to trade it in. So I just got curious, right? And I looked at specking out the maximum MacBook Pro that I would want. So M5 Max, highest end GPU, 128 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
And then only a 2 terabyte SSD. I actually don't need that much storage.
Only, yeah.
And my payment ended up being like $130 a month for 3 years.
That is way less than I thought it was going to be, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, so the overall price isn't like over the term, especially for a business, if you know you're going to be cycling through it, it can be a more affordable option. But I then looked at how much I could trade in my current M4 Max for, and because it's dented, $300. Yeah, so I don't know that I'm gonna go ahead and partake in this, but also it's happening at a really weird time where Apple's about to completely redo most of their lineup. The iPhone Ultra is coming out, and the MacBook Ultra is also coming out. And like, I was looking at the M5 Max, and I was like, I've been thinking about it, but why would I do it now? Doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah. Why would you? I guess if you really, really need one now.
I don't need a touchscreen.
Yeah.
But I do need OLED though. I'm looking forward to
I want the OLED,
yeah. But people have done the calculations, and on an $1,100 iPhone 17 Pro, over a year, you're only paying about half that. And if you get it for 2 years, you're only paying about 3/4. And if you're a serial compulsive upgrader.
Not me.
Phone do you have?
Shut up.
If you're a serial compulsive upgrader, this could potentially be the more affordable way for you to assuage your habits.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
That's does this make sense for people who keep their stuff for ages? No, but Apple doesn't give a crap about you anyways.
You're not giving them money.
You got to give them more money. And so for the people that do already give them money, this could actually let them give them less. In theory. In theory. But also, there was the theory about Apple's restricted mode, which got unveiled in iOS 27, where people were speculating, this looks like you're going to lock people down if they miss their payments on their leases. And Apple confirming to The Verge that is not what the restricted mode is for. Guess what it is for, Reese?
No clue.
Yeah, exactly. They're not telling.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
So it's there, but they're saying it's not for their upgrade program, but they're not saying what exactly it is for. So the suspicion it's for carriers to lock things down.
I missed my T-Mobile payment again.
Or they didn't like the backlash, and it will be eventually. And it's just
while it cooled down, let it cool down a little bit.
Exactly. So let us know what you think about the Apple upgrade program. It's going to get you to swap on over to something new sooner. Let us know down below in the comments. But in case you want to own something like a gaming computer, you should check out UFD Forge, because we have a website that helps you to build one of the best computers that you could for your budget, or even upgrade what you currently have. You could also check out whether or not you're bottlenecked, and by how much are you severely bottlenecked. So if you want to, get a Ryzen 5 5500 and a 9070 XT, 1440p across 17 different games, you're 81% bottlenecked in esports titles and 39% in AAA games. So maybe consider upgrading. And also, you have starter builds you can check out according to different price points. And this coming Friday, we're going to be evaluating your Steam Machine clones at the price point of a Steam Machine. I saw some people in our Discord being worried because prices have changed since they submitted.
It literally, yeah.
But I'm not going to judge it based on that because there's a gate for you to submit in the first place where if you're not in the budget, it won't let you submit. So if you submitted, I can trust that you were at the price point when you
Fair
did.
enough, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to be generous with that. But also speaking of Discord, our Discord activities almost ready. So you'll be able to build your PCs on Discord and share it on Discord and have your friends also do their own thing. But also we're giving away PCs over on Twitch. You can find out more of that information at ufdforge.com/community in case you want all of that. But in case you play video games on your computer and you don't like Windows, I mean, you can't build a Hackintosh anymore. Well, guess what? Linux is there. And GOG potentially coming to Linux, GOG Galaxy. Ooh. So they've already said that they're interested in this, and a lot of people are treating this like GOG Galaxy is now available on Linux, but really all they said was, earlier this year we said we wanted to hire somebody, we've hired them.
Oh, okay, so it's in the pipeline, I guess.
It was already in the pipeline. Yeah. Now it's in development.
Yeah.
So it's a good update.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff happening. That's good news.
And there's stuff happening with AI all of the time. So let's talk about the latest from Sam Altman, who says we've hit the singularity. And in case you're not familiar with what the singularity is, it's something from my childhood terror and nightmares, which is I was told that by the year 2022, according to some History Channel freaking conspiracy theory documentary they had, that we're going to hit the singularity, and that's when AI can improve upon itself and just become self-replicating and constantly improves, and the humans get taken out of the equation, and AI is now the best it's ever been, and it only goes up from there.
See, I was worried about meteorites at that age.
Meteorites? Like, you didn't own the music for your Dragon Ball Z FMVs you were making?
Meteorites.
So he said on a podcast, we are now in the singularity. Yeah, that's doing a lot of heavy lifting, but it's just going along with the marketing campaign that their AIs are more dangerous than they actually are. And guess what? You remember how we were talking about how it hacked Hugging Face, and I had the speculation that maybe the training environment was the problem and not the AI actually being singularityized?
Yeah.
Well, the exploit that was used in order for it to break its container, the company that develops that has come out and said, yeah, this wasn't that special. They quote, they ran deliberately without production safeguards in an isolated research environment using a self-managed instance of Artifactory. So they didn't set it up right. And then when it got out a little bit, it got full out because it wasn't properly made up.
Like I said, oops, I dropped the key.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened. So it's all fear mongering for the total reason of money. It's
marketing.
It's marketing 100%. They want people to think they've got something that's so crazy that they're not releasing so that you get excited for the next thing, or they could sell it to investors because that's more the important thing is that they get people with
shareholders.
The shareholder, baby. They're not public yet, but also this helps them with their IPO, their valuation, because people are thinking, holy crap, Sam Altman's got the singularity. This is going to be the most valuable company of all time.
This guy's crazy.
Well, so is he.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals on the internet, and here you are. First up, we have the Corsair RS120 120mm daisy chainable fans available in a black triple pack for $29.99, making it $15 off. But then next we have the Philips H8000 wireless active noise cancelling headphones for $59.99, making them $55 off. And then lastly, we have this HP OmniBook X Flip 2-in-1 with a 14-inch 2K OLED touchscreen and a Ryzen AI 5 430, going for $649.99, making it half off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, man you off back to Brett and I for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reese, if you're trying to get a good deal on your PC by building with DDR4, you have to be willing to sacrifice some of your performance. Tom's Hardware going back and evaluating DDR4 versus DDR5 on LGA 1700. So that's Intel's 12th, 13th, and 14th gen CPUs, which they're still selling motherboards for, as well as the chips. And it turns out DDR4 is kind of bad. It's actually bad. You lose a lot of performance. At best, you lose 10%.
At best.
At best.
Oh,
At
man.
worst, you're looking at like a quarter of your performance lost. And a 13900K on DDR4 is the equivalent of a 13600K on DDR5. And that a 14900K is a little bit lower than that 13600K when you add DDR4 to the equation. So all of the bottom performers are DDR4. The 12th gen is also on DDR5, isn't so great, but once you start getting into the Raptor Lake chips, you want to be on DDR5 in order to unlock the best performance that you possibly can.
Who would have thunk? Bigger number better.
Bigger number better.
4, 5.
Well, we're going down in the opposite way because AMD dropping a budget GPU. The RX 9050 getting unveiled
Okay,
yesterday.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wasn't either. I actually didn't hear much about this before it got leaked by, I think, ASRock, who posted. And then AMD was like, okay, fine.
Of course it's ASRock.
This is a real card. So they're releasing it in both 4 and 8 gigabyte variants.
Okay.
So like super budget in terms of performance. Not price. So 10.6 teraflops, that's all right performance. It's about half of a 9060 XT. Has half the stream processors, has the same amount of VRAM, slightly slower memory bandwidth at 288 gigabytes per second instead of the 320 that you find on the 9060 XT. So expect half the performance of a 9060 XT, and then if you have half the memory, definitely expect less than half because 4 gigabytes of VRAM in the big 2026.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking kind of rough.
Yeah, well, what's also rough is $279. $279
Okay.
for a 9050.
Pass.
Yeah, it's also going to be limited to Asia Pacific, Japan, and Latin America. So thankfully, we don't have to make that decision, which there's not much of a decision.
Yeah, don't do it. You're a little bit shocked by that.
Oh, and I'm shocked by the reports that I'm hearing about Nova Lake and their upcoming APU equivalents. They're going to be slapping big old GPUs into the integrated section of that CPU. And we're finding out why they might need 3 8-pin power connectors. And it's because that integrated GPU, reports are coming out, they're going to be pushing 65 watts through the graphics processor alone.
The GPU.
The GPU. Yeah, now expect that you're going to have 125 plus watts for the CPU side of things. You're looking at a 200 watt chip, but with incredible gaming performance.
I was about to say there is a but,
Yeah, XE3 has been fantastic on Panther Lake. It's been super efficient. We haven't seen it so much in these like high power profile scenarios. XE3P with massive power going through it. I'm really excited.
I kind of want to see what it can do.
Yeah.
Give it the juice.
Like this has been something that they haven't really done because it doesn't yield results because these are meant to be lower profile, lower power chips. It makes it so that giving them more performance, like you hit the asymptote really quickly, but it looks like Intel's got some special sauce with their XE3P stuff where it scales. It scales really well. Give it the power, it goes faster. And maybe like 1080p AAA gaming at 60 to 120 FPS might be a real thing.
I want to see it.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm also really excited for the Minis Forum server that I have coming in. The Panther Lake one with 128 gigabytes of RAM gets delivered next week. Intel goodness. I'm sorry. I'm an integrated GPU fanboy. That's really what it is.
I'm all for a good iGPU future if we have to go that way.
Yeah.
Because little boy, small PC, play game, good enough. I'm for that.
I love that caveman speak. It hit me like I feel that.
It's an internal, like a primal instinct.
Exactly.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I love the Z1 Extreme when that launched. Love the Steam Deck. And now we're moving on to bigger and better things. And it looks like Intel's taking that crown. And you guys take the crown thoughts. Comment response, comments down on YouTube or over on our WhatsApp line +27 068 921 4591. Reese.
Hi, UFD Tech.
Hi.
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 I wanted to send you guys a picture of my cat. Look at that. Her name is Nala.
Oh, that's a cute cat.
I like that cat.
Then over on YouTube, we got Hanon saying, I'm so jaded and cynical these days. Xbox and Ubisoft actually doing something good makes me suspicious, like there's some kind of catch to it.
I'm personally like that a lot with Ubisoft specifically. It's just something about them. I don't know what it is, but like the moment I hear Ubisoft in a sentence, my initial reaction is like, oh, what did they do this time?
Yeah. I've got news for you. There's no catch right now.
Right now. There's no catch right now. All catches are future. And so just enjoy it for what it is at the current moment. I try and like, yeah.
Yeah, when they peel the license back from your computer in like 5 years or whatever, just
I'm not playing those games at that. Okay, that's a me thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just you don't own anything, so might as well just enjoy the not ownership while you had it. And then IRD Moose saying, if the government didn't want the data deleted, maybe they shouldn't have entered the duress code. Skill issue. I really like that one.
That's cheeky. I like that.
That was good. And then we got KW saying, one man's garbage is another man's ungarbage.
Are they talking about the laptop?
I think so.
The one that was on the side of the road?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.